Hello YouTube, I am Low Poly Lo-Fi, and Honkai Star Rail released recently. I've been having a great time with it. I'm really excited for the future of the game, but I have some personal gripes and concerns as well. In today's video, I plan to go over my first impressions on the game, talk about what it does well, and the parts that didn't quite appeal to me. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you feel like it. It really goes a long way. Enough of that though, let's get into the video. Let's talk gameplay. The first thing I thought of when I started this game was Persona, and it feels like that's what most of my friends picked up from it as well. You know, I hate to be that guy, but Star Rail really does feel like Hoyoverse's shot at Persona-style gameplay, although it still feels noticeably different. Gameplay is split up into two parts: dungeon exploration on the overworld map and turn-based combat. In the exploration sections, you can explore various zones of the location you're in, search for various resource deposits and chests, and upon finding a roaming enemy, initiate combat. The combat isn't very complicated. You take your party of 4 and you wail on enemies until they're not in front of you anymore, the usual. The action order is based on the speed stat of all involved combatants, and past that, the combat is frankly far simpler than most other RPGs. There's no complicated menus you have to navigate through. You press Q for your basic attack, E for your skill, and when charged, 1 through 4 for each character's ultimate. Speaking of ultimates, I think they're my favorite mechanic in the whole game. When a character's ultimate is activated, it instantly queues to go after the action currently happening, allowing you to interrupt enemy turns and respond to dangerous scenarios extremely efficiently. Timing your ultimates correctly is very important, as a well-placed ult can really make or break a fight. You can't use items in battle and can only use them in the dungeon, alongside the various out-of-battle skills that each character has one of. These range from the Trailblazer giving your whole party a bit of healing to party-wide buffs, so carefully managing your resources is a must. Overall, I'm a very big fan of the gameplay elements, and I can only imagine as more gets added to the game, it'll get even better. I've been playing Star Rail non-stop for a few days now, and I'm pretty sure I'm starting to get the hang of it, but it's been pretty difficult so far. Honestly, I wasn't expecting the game to be very challenging. Having gone into this game with Genshin Impact as my only frame of reference for difficulty curves in Hoyoverse games, I was anticipating a fairly easygoing experience, without much challenge. At least not for the first 30 to 40 hours or so. All this to say, the game is hard. Maybe it's just my bad gacha luck, maybe I'm just bad at the game. This game has been very challenging. Many of the elite enemy encounters, say that one 3 times fast, have left my party in shambles by the time I beat them, and I've barely been scraping by with the story bosses. The encounters are balanced in a way that has really kept me on my toes, and I'm super into it. I do, however, have some worries that going forward the game is going to get too difficult. I wouldn't really consider myself a casual player, and I'd like to think I'm pretty good at games, but with the amount of trouble I'm having in what are the beginner areas, I fear that casual players may get left behind. Genshin Impact's only example of real difficulty is the Spiral Abyss. Everything else in the game is extremely easy, and you can clear pretty much all content without much trouble. The Spiral Abyss, being the one notable exception to this rule, creates difficulty by throwing enemies at you on a harsh time limit, with health bars that have only gone up since its first cycle. In my opinion, it crossed the line from being challenging to unfair several months ago, and hasn't really felt like a test of skill in a long time. Rather, it feels like the people who would seek to gain the most from it, free-to-play players, don't even have a fair chance at getting all the rewards. This isn't a game that is universally considered easy by all of its players. Taking Star Rail's already more challenging experience into account, I worry that Star Rail's equivalent game mode, the Forgotten Hall, could fall into the same scenario. Enough negativity though, let's talk presentation. This game is beautiful. You can feel the love and time put into every part of this game. The character art and 3D models are beautiful, the outfits are all unique, every single character oozes personality, there isn't a single character that feels out of place or lazily made. The animation team did a stellar job. There's so much care and detail put into everything that it's hard to find any negatives. Every ultimate animation is beautiful. My personal favorites right now are Welt's and Dan Heng's. The game really just feels like a playable anime. I'm a big fan of the music as well. For the very first fight in the game, I took like 5 minutes to just vibe to it. It isn't my favorite RPG soundtrack, but it's very high quality. In fact, just about all of the sound design is great. The VAs did a great job. I've genuinely nearly cried because of their line delivery more than once, and the dialogue just feels so natural. Often, game dialogue will feel just a bit off. Like, you can tell that the voice actors recorded in completely different conditions, or one of the actors interpreted the tone of the scene a little differently than the others did. None of the dialogue has felt like that so far. The characters just feel very real. Speaking of the dialogue, this game is hilarious. I've spent most of my time playing literally laughing out loud. The game is just so unserious, and I love it. Maybe the game's sense of humor is just super in line with mine, but the jokes have just been hitting. The poorly drawn wanted posters in the game giving me a cosmic thumbs up or scaring the daylights out of some poor room service lady have had me laughing the hardest I have in a while. The game does get serious when it needs to, but those moments are spoilers, so I'm not going to be talking about them. Honkai Star Rail has a lot of quality of life improvements compared to some of Hoyoverse's other games, and I feel like it would be unfair not to talk about them, so here it is. First of all, the game simply runs extremely smoothly. A common problem I had with Genshin is that I couldn't look at the in-game announcements tab because the menus were just too laggy, and it took ages to load. In Star Rail, the menus are snappy, load quickly, and are easy to access from the pause menu. Honestly, important things being accessible straight from the top of the pause menu is the most noticeable quality of life feature the game has. Just a glance reveals several extremely important tabs that are accessible from the top page of your menu. The Synthesize tab, which is a cooking and crafting menu, is right at the top. No more looking for a cooking pot or a crafting table in the wild. Just make what you need when you need it. There's an Instant Events tab. You can open the Official Community tab, granting quick access to announcements, official forums, social medias, and most importantly, the Daily Check-in. Right there, easy to access from in the game, no need to go hunt for it online. The in-game profile button and redemption code access are right there in the same place. You won't have to go digging around in your settings to put in gift codes in this game. And it doesn't end there. If you for some reason, I don't know, lost a super important story fight through no fault of your own, instead of having to replay all of the dialogue again, you can just press the handy-dandy skip button. It's honestly quite nice not having to replay dialogue I've already seen due to a lost fight, or my internet turning off for a minute. And last but not least, what I think are the most important quality of life features so far. An auto battle feature and speed up feature exist in this game and shave so much time off of your grinding. If I had to critique one thing, it's that the auto battler is kind of incompetent, and running the animations on 1.5x speed doesn't really improve much for time investment when you're directing the battle manually. The auto battle and speed up combo only really shines when idly grinding Calyx buds, and to speed up some of the less important fights in Simulated Universe, but it's a very welcome addition, and I'm glad it's here. You know, I'm here now after recording the whole episode to just kind of give my final thoughts, a wrap-up if you will. I think Honkai Star Rail is a very good game. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I love it, honestly. I'm gonna probably play it a lot, and I really do hope that anybody who does choose to play it is also able to get the same enjoyment out of it that I've been able to get. Like, obviously, I think there are some areas that could be improved on. I think, you know, it's probably going to have all of the gacha game nonsense. But at the end of the day, I think it's a pretty good game, and I do hope that you don't write it off just because it's a gacha game made by the Genshin Impact company, you know. This is kind of, I'm kind of rambling. You know, like, subscribe, all the jazz. And if you really enjoyed the video, leave a comment, let me know if you thought there was anything that I missed going over it. At some point, I'm going to be adding a Patreon segment here. I'm probably going to get that put up, you know, sometime after this video goes up. Going to work on it, see about getting some tiers up. But in the future, if you want to be a patron of the Low Poly Lo-Fi YouTube channel, the link will be in the description of the video if it is up by that time. There's obviously not going to be any, you know, thanks on this one because I just don't have a Patreon yet. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you have a good rest of whatever amount of your day you're going to be having tonight.